There's a road in Barrington, Illinois that people don't just drive down, they return to. Not during the day, not by accident. They come back at night, drawn by something they can't quite explain. For generations, Cuba Road and White Cemetery have been the setting of strange encounters, unexplained sightings, and stories that refuse to stay buried. One of the most unsettling legends tied to Cuba Road centers around the bridge near Route 14, where some say ghost sightings have occurred. Local lore tells of a young man who hanged himself from a tree here, and ever since, his restless spirit is said to linger on the bridge. According to legend, those who park their cars on the bridge at midnight, shut off their engines, and sit in silence have reported strange experiences. Some claim to hear a faint, eerie whistle drifting through the night, soon followed by the deliberate sound of footsteps creeping closer, despite no living person being in sight. Others insist they've seen a shadowy male figure, sometimes stepping directly into the roadway or standing motionless at the rail of the bridge, watching in silence before vanishing into the darkness. Another version of the legend claims that a young woman purposely hanged herself from a tree near the bridge so her boyfriend would see her lifeless body while driving home from work. According to this version, if you park on the bridge late at night, the silhouette of the woman's body can be seen hanging from a tree in the distance. As creepy as these stories sound, I wasn't able to find any documented evidence of anyone ending their life at the bridge on Cuba Road near Route 14. Chances are the story is nothing more than folklore, an eerie tale that has been retold and reshaped with each passing generation. But like many ghost stories, the absence of hard evidence doesn't erase its grip on the imagination, and the bridge's dark tale still hangs over Cuba Road, a haunting story that refuses to fade with time. Another set of scary stories tied to this infamous road involves phantom vehicles that suddenly appear at night, haunting the secluded stretch near White Cemetery and then vanishing as quickly as they appear. For decades, drivers have told stories about being chased by mysterious vehicles that appear suddenly in their rearview mirrors with blinding headlights. The two most common encounters involve a dark limousine and a pickup truck, though some witnesses have also described a black muscle car which has been seen on Cuba Road and also on Flynn Creek Drive nearby. These vehicles seem to materialize from the darkness, racing up behind unsuspecting drivers and tailgating them at a dangerously close distance. Some say the stories are nothing more than urban legends, but others swear they've experienced them firsthand, including some of my own viewers who shared stories about being chased by mysterious vehicles on this road. In a previous video I made about the haunted legends of Cuba Road, I received a few comments from witnesses who said they were pursued by mysterious vehicles that vanished as quickly as they appeared. One of my viewers said that during a visit to Cuba Road on the night of Halloween, they were aggressively pursued by a black car near White Cemetery, but when they pulled over to let the vehicle pass, the car was gone without a trace. And at the time of the incident, they were unaware of the road's history of phantom vehicles until reading about them in a newspaper article later. Another one of my viewers said they were driving home from the grocery store at night in the early 2000s when a mysterious black car appeared out of nowhere and chased them at a dangerously close distance, nearly running them off the road. At the end of the pursuit, as their vehicle fishtailed all over Cuba Road, the car sped off at a speed estimated to be around 100 miles per hour. Even though the driver could have been a living person and not a phantom, the experience terrified the couple and nearly caused a serious accident. While some believe these encounters are paranormal, others say there could be another explanation. Cuba Road has long been known as a late-night cruising strip where thrill-seekers push their limits. Drivers have been known to turn off their headlights and speed down the road in complete darkness, sometimes with fatal results. Over the years, multiple deaths have been linked to reckless driving here, including a fatal crash in 2008 when 2 teenagers were killed after speeding 90 miles per hour with their lights off. The speeding car went airborne as it crested a hill in the road and slammed into the trees on the other side, tragically killing 2 of the 4 passengers. This was only one of several deadly crashes, many involving high school students, who lost their lives while speeding along the dark stretch of Cuba Road between Route 14 and Route 59. Of course, many of the phantom vehicle encounters could be nothing more than reckless drivers speeding down the road with their lights off, trying to scare unsuspecting travelers. But the unsettling history of the road makes you wonder if these encounters could really be the spirits of one of the many reckless drivers who lost their lives here over the years. The strange activity on Cuba Road isn't limited to phantom vehicles or the ghosts said to haunt the bridge. Countless drivers have reported seeing ghostly figures along the roadside itself, apparitions that vanish the moment headlights sweep across them. Dating back to the 1800s, Cuba Road began as a narrow gravel path winding through dense woods and open farmland. One of its oldest and most enduring legends tells of an old woman carrying a lantern wandering the roadside at night. Some say she was killed long ago while riding on horseback. Others claim she died in a horse-drawn carriage accident. Witnesses describe her dim lantern bobbing in the darkness, slowly moving toward the edge of the road, pausing as if to watch passing cars before fading away without a sound. Some say the woman's ghost is a warning to travelers, a lingering spirit from Cuba Road's past. But her story is only one part of the mystery, because just down the same stretch of road lies a place many believe is the true source of its hauntings. The haunted reputation of Cuba Road also extends to the infamous White Cemetery just off the roadside. Drivers have reported seeing a lone apparition standing near the gates, sometimes a faint shadow watching the road, other times a solid, human-like figure that disappears the moment anyone gets too close. Adding to the eeriness, drivers have also reported a mysterious vehicle pulling into the cemetery late at night. Witnesses say they'll see headlights enter the grounds, but when they drive past, the lot is completely empty and the vehicle is gone. White Cemetery itself has a haunted reputation that stretches back decades. It first gained widespread attention in the 1960s when a local schoolteacher told stories about tombstones that seemed to move on their own and a cloaked figure with a hook for a hand that was said to stalk the darkness. These stories drew the attention of local kids and ghost hunters, and the cemetery's reputation as one of Illinois' most haunted places was born. The most common and enduring phenomenon linked to White Cemetery involves strange lights that have been seen floating over the graves, and sometimes even drifting out into the road in front of passing cars. These glowing orbs have been witnessed by countless people over the years, including some of my own viewers, making them one of the most widely reported supernatural encounters on Cuba Road. One of my viewers shared a story about visiting White Cemetery at night with friends when the group saw a flickering light by one of the graves, but as they walked closer, the light disappeared. Another viewer said he was driving through the cemetery at night with a friend, and the two saw a small light that followed their vehicle as they drove down the narrow path, but when they parked and got out of the car, the light was gone. Among the many stories tied to White Cemetery, one of my viewers left a comment about an unsettling legend from the late 1980s that centers around one of the Schumacher graves. As a side note, there are multiple Schumachers buried in this cemetery, and I'm not sure which grave is associated with the story, but if you happen to know, please leave a comment below. According to legend, anyone who dares to walk across the grave will feel an unseen force clutching at their feet as if something beneath the ground is trying to pull them under. Some visitors have claimed to feel their ankles suddenly grabbed, freezing them in place with terror, while others describe the sensation of being tripped or tugged as they hurry past. One of my viewers shared a story about something strange that happened during a visit to the cemetery while attempting to film a YouTube video. While sitting in their vehicle parked inside the cemetery, 3 distinct knocks were heard on the back window, but no one was there. After leaving the cemetery, it was later revealed that none of the video footage from the cemetery was actually recorded, almost as if an unseen force caused the camera or SD card to malfunction. One of the strangest legends tied to Cuba Road is the story of the Vanishing House, which is said to be similar in appearance to the Vanishing House seen in the woods around Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. For decades, drivers traveling near White Cemetery have claimed to see an old house standing just off the road between the cemetery and Route 59. Some describe it as a large weathered home with lights glowing faintly in the windows, while others say it looks abandoned and even on fire in some cases. But no matter how clearly it's seen, when anyone tries to return to the spot or even turns around moments later, the house is gone without a trace. Stories of this phantom home have circulated since the 1980s, with different witnesses describing the same unsettling experience. Some believe the vision is tied to an actual house that once stood along the road and was lost in a fire, while others are convinced it is a supernatural mirage, an echo of the past that refuses to fade. Cuba Road's ghost stories have been passed down for generations, and its dark reputation may have been influenced by real-life tragedies that occurred in the surrounding area and on the road itself. In 1972, locals lived in fear after a 19-year-old girl was shot to death in her own home just a few doors down from White Cemetery where she's buried. That same year, another horrific crime unfolded nearby, a brutal home invasion that left 4 people dead. And if you go back further in time, the area saw violence as well. In the late 1800s, a road commissioner was murdered in the middle of Rainbow Road, just around the corner from Cuba Road. When you combine these tragedies with the unusually high number of fatal accidents involving drivers who lost their lives speeding recklessly here, it's no wonder Cuba Road has developed such a chilling reputation as one of the most infamous haunted roads in Illinois. But the question remains, is Cuba Road truly haunted? For decades, people have claimed to see phantom cars racing through the darkness, glowing orbs drifting across White Cemetery, and shadowy figures watching from the roadside. Yet not everyone is convinced the road is haunted. In a 2014 article published in the Lake County Journal, a few residents who live near White Cemetery shared their thoughts on the road's haunted reputation. While they've heard the tales countless times, most say they've never seen or heard anything unusual themselves. To them, the legends may be nothing more than stories passed down, retold, and exaggerated over the years. But for every skeptic, there's someone who swears what they saw was real. These experiences keep the mystery of Cuba Road alive, blurring the line between truth and folklore. As far as White Cemetery goes, one photo has caught the attention of many. In the photo, a strange figure with a vaguely human shape appears among the graves. Some believe it's a real ghost caught on camera, while others point to more ordinary explanations like floating dust or blur caused by a long exposure. In the image, a glowing light can also be seen floating above the gravestones, but this could be nothing more than a light from a home in the distance, an insect, or a solar-powered decoration. But what do you think? Have you ever experienced anything strange while driving down Cuba Road or while visiting White Cemetery? Have you ever been pursued by a phantom vehicle that suddenly vanished into the night, or seen glowing orbs floating over the graves in White Cemetery? And what do you think about this photo? Do you think it's a real ghost caught in camera, or is there another explanation? Leave a comment below with your thoughts and stories.